This week on Sox Degrees, we are joined by Gavin Sheets. And I want to know first when Gavin Sheets decided he was going to be a baseball player.
From a really young age. It's something that I always loved to do. I obviously grew up basically in a baseball family. My dad said his proudest moment was with 4 or 5 months old. He handed me a bat upside down, a little wiffle ball bat, and I turned around and held it by the handle. And he said from that point, he's like, man, was I excited to see that. So, even before I can remember, I think that baseball was always in my blood and something that I always just wanted to do. And luckily growing up, played it my whole life. And I had a sister that was 10 years older than me, and she would play field hockey, and I had to go to every game. And I would just throw a ball around and hit wiffle balls all over the place while she was playing. So that's kind of where I learned to get it going.
Like in the stands? Like what were you doing at her game? She's trying to play, bud.
So there was a big field, and then there's just like a little field next to it. And some of the parents said that they enjoyed watching me just walk over there and hit baseballs back and forth, and they did watching the game. But I would just do that. It was either that or golf. I'd be peppering balls in the corner and hoping they didn't get in the field.
So your dad was so proud of you, and I know we'll talk about your return to Baltimore a little later. But in talking to him, and maybe it's a better question for him, did he want you to be a baseball player, or did it not matter to him whether you became interested in the sport or not?
So I think that helped grow my love for the game. He didn't care. It was completely my decision. Actually, funny story, when I was in 8th grade, he had just taken over the job as the varsity baseball coach at my school. And, I was not very good at baseball at the time. And, he was worried that I was playing it just because of him. And he pulled me aside. We were coming back from a tournament. I think I was like 0 for 12. And he was like, hey, he's like, don't think that you have to do this because of me. At the time I was probably better at golf than I was baseball. He said, if you want to play golf in high school, if you want to go, go ahead and go continue that career or something. He's like, whatever makes you happy. And, at the time I was like, I really appreciate it. But I was also like, man, this is our varsity baseball coach telling me to play golf. So, it was kind of twofold at the time, but, no, he was always supportive of whatever I wanted to do. And, I think that helped grow the love for me, because I've seen a lot of guys, get burnt out by just too much pressure from their parents or, especially when he played in the big leagues, to have that understanding and just support along the way.
What is your first memory of being at a big league ballpark?
Probably, I don't know what age I was, but Camden Yards. I was there. We were there all the time. Whether it was, he would hit to the sponsors. If Under Armour came to the field or something, he'd come out and hit fly balls to the guys. And, I would just be running around shagging balls during BP. And those are the days I remember. That's what I remember the most growing up. It wasn't necessarily the games, but it was just seeing kind of him interacting with fans and not fully understanding what was going on, but just seeing the excitement that people had. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, getting to go to that or getting to go to Fan Fest with him. And just sitting next to him, that was the memories I remember growing up, and what I thought was always the coolest part.
We're going to take a look at you at Camden Yards here, terrorizing the fence.
Hits this one high and deep to right field. Santander out of room, and the local product.
How about that? How'd that feel?
Man, that was an incredible night. And where he was sitting when I got to cross home, he was like the first person I saw, and he doesn't show much emotion, and that was the most emotion I think I've ever seen him show, and that was really cool. That was cool for all of us, cool for the whole family.
We just saw you as you crossed home. You kind of snuck a look at him, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I was looking right at him, and that was just an awesome moment for the entire family.
Some people, when they're growing up, like me, who wasn't from a baseball family, we have like Uncle Mike come over and like a couple of cousins. Because I know he was sitting in Cal's seats.
Yeah.
Who were the people who came over and you're like, oh, Uncle Cal's over today? Who were those people?
So, yeah, Cal Cal was always, I grew up being around him. He was always around. I hate to name drop people, but
I'm asking you to. You can tell people that I've forced you into it. So please name drop, and we'll pick them up later.
Eddie Murray, I got to spend a lot of time with. But yeah, I think Cal was the biggest. Cal was always, because I was really close with his son. His son's one of my best friends, and still to this day, as we talk all the time. He's in Norfolk. We played against him in Norfolk, and Cal, just through this whole process, through COVID process, being able to work out with Ryan and him kind of take us both and throw to us and work with us. And he's a busy man, and he's taken a lot of time out to help me, and he's been extremely supportive of me, and was one of the first people to reach out when I got the call. So yeah, he was always awesome. And he coached my high school team with my dad. So I can say that he was one of our high school coaches.
Gavin, what is the benefit of having grown up knowing big league players? I'm sure it's in some ways difficult to quantify it, right? But is there an aura? Is there a presence that these guys had that had an impression on you? And how has that instructed you as now a big league player?
Absolutely. At the time, you don't think about it as a kid. I never thought about Cal as, Iron Man or a Hall of Famer when I was around him. And, I think that's kind of how I grew up, and that's helps in the clubhouse. The first time in 2017 when I got to, meet the big league guys, it was never like, man, this is so cool, or, just kind of felt like it was natural. And, I think that helps a lot when the first call up, and to be around the guys and just kind of understand one, I know how to act around them. It's not like when you come up as a rookie, the last thing you want to do is be the loudest in the room, or, bringing attention to yourself. And, I think that comes from the upbringing. It's just knowing how to handle yourself. And, it's something about each one of those guys, Cal and Eddie, their professionalism that stands out to me. They know how to be a professional. They know how to just see them interact with fans. And I think it's more, not the baseball side of things, but just kind of how to handle yourself that I learned growing up.
What's the best piece of advice your dad has ever given you as a baseball player?
Always be yourself. Never change who you are because of, one, your teammates, one, because of the situation, like a bigger situation. He's like, when you get to the big leagues, never change what got you here. Don't become a bigger person because you have more, fame, or you're in the big leagues now. He's like, never do that, because people will see right through that. And, it was never baseball advice. It was always kind of how to handle your life, how you live your life. And, I think that holds true.
What are the things that you are keeping the same actively? Like, what is Gavin Sheets to make sure that he stays him?
I like to have fun. That's the biggest thing for me. Every level I've played at, when I take the game too serious, or, get down on myself, beat myself up, that's when I'm not at my best. And, that's what I've tried to do here. And it's really, really easy to do it here, because you have guys like TA and Billy and Hosey. And this clubhouse couldn't fit me any better. We have so much fun, and if you told me when I first came up that, within my first 3 weeks, I would feel like just at home with these guys and feel like I've been here the whole year, I don't think I would have believed you. But this is, and it's a testament to why we're in first place. And rookies like myself have been able to come up and contribute, because guys here are awesome. It's a brotherhood, and you get brought in immediately.
How close were you to the brotherhood of the PGA Tour instead of Major League Baseball?
I don't think I ever gave it a good enough shot. I love golf, though. I love playing in the off season. It's still one of my loves, and never gave it a full run, though.
You thought about it? Did you think about it?
I thought about playing in high school. I thought I knew I was a pretty good player, and man, I would have dreamed like winning a Masters or something would still be one of the coolest things ever. But no, I think baseball is my calling.
How is golf Gavin different from baseball Gavin?
I feel like I'm more serious on a golf course.
Really?
Yeah. Which is probably why I do worse on the golf course than I do on the baseball field. But a lot of similarities. I love to talk smack on the golf course. That's one of the fun parts about it. But the competitiveness is the same. I mean, if it's golf or baseball, I'm going to try to win, and that's not going to change depending on the sport there.
Are you a club thrower? It sounds like the way you're talking. It sounds like you're a club thrower.
No, not a club thrower, luckily, but I've seen some good ones.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody you wanna say that you've seen?
Oh, I've seen my dad chuck it a pretty good ways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he would get more frustrated in golf than baseball too. But I don't know. He was a little more fiery than I was when he played. So it might be the same for golf and baseball.
Nice.
We probably have buried the lead here, Gavin. Were you a lefty from birth, or did Pop say you're going to be a left-handed thrower because you might end up being Randy Johnson or something?
I think I was lefty from birth, and I don't think he minded that one bit at all. Obviously, he hit lefty but threw righty. But yeah, I was lefty from birth. He was always saying, "Man, I've got a trunk of gloves and all this stuff that you can't even use because you're a lefty." So we'd be going to Dick's to get our gloves.
That's great. And off the tee, I'm guessing you're pretty big off the tee on the golf course.
Can be, as long as it's straight. Sometimes it gets longer and then starts going a little bit wayward, but I try to hit it a good ways.
What kind of distance we talking about?
Probably 300 to 330.
Yeah, that'll play.
You've kind of lived a charmed baseball life in the sense that played in the Carolina League, you played in Charlotte. You kind of have that ACC vibe in the minor leagues, and then we talked about your trip to Baltimore. 2 weeks into your major league career, it's kind of fun.
Man, when I didn't realize that I had gone to some Winston-Salem games, but I didn't realize that they were the White Sox. And my first year when I got to Kannapolis and they were talking about, man, you're going to be in Winston next year. I was like, oh my gosh. So I got to go. I was there showed up in April, and my whole senior class was at Wake. So it was like I came back for my senior year. It couldn't have worked out any better. And then, obviously Charlotte is incredible. Charlotte is kind of where everybody from Wake moves to after they're done there. So it's like Wake 2.0 in Charlotte. And but what an incredible stadium that they have there. And yeah, just to be in North Carolina and feel like you're at home the whole time was really nice.
What was it like? I just want to know real quick. What was it like having all your knucklehead friends come into your game?
And it was hilarious. It was cool to see, our Winston-Salem team and those guys get along and like hang out and just see the two worlds collide. But I'll never forget, it was a thirsty Thursday, and I'm in the dugout. We just came off the field, and they're doing the Macarena dance or something, and they got like, you dress up like a hula dancer and come on the field, and I look out and I've got two of my buddies on the field doing the Macarena, and some of the guys on our team knew them and we're friends with them. They're dying laughing. I'm like, man, I need to get in the clubhouse, so I got to get out of here. But just stuff like that was so much fun. I mean, just to see them on the field having a blast, it was, oh man, I'll never forget that. Did
they heckle you during games?
Oh, absolutely. I felt like I was in an away game sometime. I'm like, guys, you guys are supposed to be my friends. You're supposed to be on my side, and getting yelled at from the stands left and right.
Gavin, who did you face in the minor leagues at any level who's now in the big leagues and who you thought this guy's going to be a really good pitcher?
A lot of guys. I would say, I'm trying to think who we just faced. Alcala. I played against him a lot from Minnesota. He was a starter with the Astros first. JB Bukakis is in the big leagues with the Diamondbacks now. Man, this weekend we got some guys. Perdomo I faced. Devin Williams from Milwaukee, the reliever. The first year I saw him was the first weekend at Double-A, and he kept throwing me that changeup. And this was before people really knew about what he had. And I mean, I kept coming in like, I don't know what this guy's throwing, but that pitch is not like any other pitch I've ever seen. And they're like, it's just a changeup. And I'm like, I'm telling you, that pitch is different than any pitch I've ever seen. And sure enough, you know, a year later, he's winning Rookie of the Year, and they're talking about his Bugs Bunny changeup that he throws. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew he had something different, because that is not like anything I've ever seen. But I think that's the cool thing about the minor leagues is, you know, you go up every level and you just continue to see some of the same guys, you know, climb with you. And then getting to play in the fall league and just seeing that talent there and just seeing it all around the league now is it's really cool. And it's cool to go up with guys and just continue to compete against them.
You're leading us right into what is your signature moment in the big leagues at this point. Brian Gailey, if you would like to play the highlight after you struck out on 2 Barrios changeups. The third at bat, you ended up winning the fight and winning the game.
Goodwin at third, Vaughn at second. Here's the pitch. Sheets with a blast to right. It's gone! White Sox win it! Oh, what a shot by Gavin Sheets!
It was never in question. Gavin Sheets on a 3-1 fastball. He let it go. That's why Tony La Russa let his kids play tonight. He had faith.
He is being mobbed at home plate. They just dumped the entire Gatorade bucket on his head. And if he survives this, he's going to be a happy man. He absolutely massacred one to right. And the Sox win the game 5-3. Oh, did they need that?
What a great...
So you got the absolute heck beat out of you at home plate. I'm glad you survived it.
Oh man, I loved every second of it.
So tell us about the at bat after the first 2 at bats, knowing that, you know, Barrios has that changeup in his back pocket, but you got into a favorable count.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me, was getting into a favorable count. You know, the first time I faced him, I had success off him. Second time was in Minnesota was a little different. He started mixing things up, and then that night he went back to his changeup, and I just felt like I was just getting pitches. I was swinging at pitches that I couldn't do damage on, and that was my goal going into that at bat. You know, obviously when I first got on the plate, it was first and second, and I knew he was going to go to that changeup to try to get a ground ball double play. So the biggest thing for me was just saying, I just got to raise the zone a little bit. Everything I chased was down in the zone. I was trying to hit a fly ball there that whole at bat, but then obviously when it got to second and third after he bounced that slider, you know, the bat even shifted to where, okay, I want to drive a pitch in the air. Like, ground balls here will not do a job. You know, the infield was in, and you know, luckily got to 3-1 and still wasn't convinced on a heater, but I was just looking. I just raised the zone, and I said, you know what, if it's a changeup or heater, I'll try to drive the changeup. I was thinking left center with the fastball and pull the changeup in the air, but luckily that just took my hands to the inside heater and got a hold of it.
Jason's call was pretty good too, by the way, and he forced us to play my call, but Jason nailed it too.
Between the two of you, those were two of the best. I was getting tagged in your guys' calls, and man, that was both of you guys.
Watching the rookie Sheets. And Gavin Sheets lights it up. Deep right field. Everybody go home. First walk off for Gavin Sheets.
You guys killed me.
And the Sox are winners.
First of all, I became a bouncer very quickly. Like, you can't stay here. Everybody leave. GTFO.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know how you two prepare for those moments, but you guys didn't miss a beat on those.
Well, I have a question for you, because there were a lot of Gatorade coolers that came around. Zach just did that to you if you're watching on the video feed.
Yep.
I didn't notice until we watched it here that Abreu was the one that took the top off the cooler and made it into a hat.
Yeah.
What is it like in the middle of one of those mob scenes?
You just kind of stand there and just wear it all. Yeah, it's freezing cold, all of it, but I mean, you have so much adrenaline going that it doesn't matter what they pour on you or what they hit you with, you won't even feel it. And yeah, that's pretty much what it was like.
Can you pick out individual people in that? Like, do you see what individuals are doing, or is it just humanity?
It's, yeah, looking back on it, I could kind of remember. I remember seeing Giolito, I think, was going just wild. And seeing him and I think Rodon were together, they were going, yeah, Gio's, you can see him in the back. He was kind of the guy I was facing. And that's the fun part, is just seeing the excitement that all those guys bring. Obviously they weren't even, they had nothing to do with that game, but just the excitement that they knew what it meant for our team overall. Keuchel and those guys, you can just see them all right there. It's just, that's the fun part, is just, this whole process, it's been, we're all in it together, and just the excitement that each one of us have for each other when something good happens is, that's the culture of a first place team. It's nothing about individual stats or anything. It's just about, the biggest thing for us that day was, we didn't lose both doubleheaders or both games. And that was, that mood swing right there, because from a day where you come off an incredible series against the Astros, and then all of a sudden you're looking up at the board and you're like, we might lose 2 in a row here to the Twins, the next day. And there wasn't a lot of energy there, but that moment, when Goody got the first hit and then Vaughn got hit, it was like, all right, we're back in this game. It's like all the energy just started to come back from the weekend. And then to top it off like that was, just huge for us going for the rest of the week.
All right, I have one last question, but it's a two-parter. Andrew Vaughn, I noted when you came up, the fact that you're in the outfield, talking with Andrew Vaughn about playing the outfield is pretty cool, because he's become such a good outfielder. So that's kind of mind-blowing, I'm sure, for you, considering you guys were infielders not too long ago. And then secondarily, Gavin, when I talk to veterans about imparting advice to younger players, generally the consensus is the younger player needs to go to the veteran player first. So the Vaughn question first, and then secondarily, what is it like for you when you talk to veteran players? Are you pretty aggressive in asking guys for advice?
First thing with the Vaughn thing is, I know exactly to know what he's been going through this whole year, doing the same thing, and just seeing the way that he's adjusted to the outfield and, playing out there. And I'll never forget the first game when we were both out. We've texted in Charlotte, and we're like, man, can we imagine an outfield with both of us in it and someone in center? And we're just always laughing about it. We're like, let's make it happen. And, the first game we're out there, I think there was a pitching change, and Brian Goodwin was in center. I said, Goody, look to your left and right. You ever think you'd play with these guys in the outfield? And, just to see that, how much how much work it takes to get out there, and just to see the way Vaughn's been doing it all year. And, obviously swinging the bat as well, as, I have the utmost respect for it, because I know exactly what it's like. And the second part with the veteran, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's about going to them. It's not their responsibility to come to us and give pieces of advice. It's about us to pick their brain. And, obviously you do it in a respectful manner, and you go up to them. But, between, Yasmani and Abreu, just, kind of talking me through some things, giving me game plans. I get a lot of game plans from Yasmani. He pulls me in the video room all the time, and, we'll watch his at-bats and how guys pitch to him. And, as a catcher as well, he's just got a great baseball mind. And then Abreu will watch some video with me as well of at-bats. And guys like that, one, that do it at the highest level, an MVP level, all-star level for both of them. It's, it's silly not to listen to them and want to pick their brains more. But, for them to just be always open to it and kind of excited when you come to them, that's pretty cool. And they've been willing to help, and that's what it's about. It's about helping your teammates out. And, I want to be in the same shoes as them, as, giving advice to younger guys when I'm their age, and, hopefully done half of what they've done in their career.
You told me on the field the other day that you've done some work with Jim Thome, and you watched a lot of his video. For people who are Sox fans, they love Jim Thome. What about Thome has he imparted to you? What do you love about him?
From the beginning, I think the biggest thing in baseball, besides, what you can teach someone, is instilling confidence. And, from the beginning, he's instilled so much confidence in myself. Just the way he talks to me, the way, supports me, and, just consistently says, I think you're going to be great. You're going to do it. You've got all the abilities. And, man, that goes a long way. And, there's a ton of advice you can give, mechanics, all that stuff, but just giving someone confidence, especially when it's a guy like Thome, to hear him say that stuff to me, it allowed myself to even believe it even more. And then to get into the baseball side, I mean, him and I would hit almost every day in spring training, and one of the nicest people, if not the nicest I've ever been around. I mean, just an unbelievable guy. And to pick his brain every day and do the drills that he did, and, obviously have similar swings, similar builds, just to pick his brain and say, okay, what was their thought process with runners on? What did you think about when you're going through this? When your swing felt like this, what did you do? And to have drills he would do, and, I still can text or call him at any time, he always says. And he was here the Minnesota series when I first got called up and played. And, I mean, it was just he was as proud as anyone when I came in, and gave me a huge hug. And, obviously the first night and then the first home run the next night, he was just thrilled. And, he's been a huge part of my career, especially with the White Sox. And, I can't thank him enough.
So I know you grew up in a baseball family, and we'll let you go here in a minute, but and you've been around all these people, but do you ever look at your phone and go, look at all these people in my phone?
I try not to. I have.
Is Cal in your phone as just Cal, or Cal Ripken Jr.?
He's in his Cal.
So your phone says Cal.
Yeah. Almost. That's more so that if someone got my phone, they wouldn't know.
Got it.
Or if I got a text or something. But I'm sure they could kind of piece it together.
There are a lot of kids at the Gilman School today who would love to just have Cal in their phone.
Well, Gavin, you are such a well-adjusted, mature guy, not just for your age, but in general, because there are a lot of people older than you, probably the two guys who are talking to you today, who are not nearly as mature. But keep that. It's going to take you a long way, and it's been such a pleasure to watch you do your thing. And I can speak for Jason here that we're just so thrilled for all your early success, and we know a lot more of it's coming.
Thank you so much. You guys have been awesome the whole way, and I appreciate the support. And let's keep this going for a little bit longer, huh?
Yeah, and go Deeks.
Go Deeks.
Gavin Sheets, thank you.